Whoops. Hello, everybody. Today we are going to review the movie. Boo, what the hell was I trying to say there? Today we are going to review the movie Bloodshot. Apparently I need to remember to talk slower in these videos because it's just sometimes I get tongue-tied because I talk so fast sometimes. And I have a lot of ideas in my head of what I want to say, and sometimes they just get jumbled together. So I know I like to do these raw sort of interviews. See what I mean? I like to do these raw reviews and not cut anything out, just to kind of give you guys a full scope, I guess, of what I'm thinking at the time. And even when I tongue-tie myself, it makes for a blooper, I guess. I should probably go back through some of my videos and do like a blooper reel, just as like a thing to do, because I think it would be funny. And if you guys would like to see that, if anybody watches the video, if you would like to see that, I can actually probably go back and do that in the future. But if it's something you'd like to see, I don't know if I'll actually end up ever doing it, but maybe once I get some better editing software and have the time to do it, because seems so busy. It probably wouldn't be coming till next year if I do a blooper reel, and it might just be like a one-off thing if I do it. But anyhow, now I'm rambling, so let's get back to the actual review. So this movie is starring Vin Diesel. I guess I thought it was Elza, but it's Isa Gonzalez. Okay. And Guy Pearce were the three main characters, and they play, obviously, Bloodshot. I believe his actual name was Ray, if I'm remembering that correctly. And, Isa Gonzalez plays KT, and Guy Pearce plays Dr. Emil Harding. So we start off with, I guess, Ray works for the military, and he's on this mission. I'm assuming it was like a hostage rescue mission. So he's obviously there to kill the people that are. It seems like he's kind of like almost a super soldier at this point, or at least. I don't know. I don't know what he really works for. It must be a secret part of the military that's kind of like, because everything he does is classified, I guess, from what I understood in this movie. So whatever he is doing is never actually written in any books. He's down in like the trenches of like the military that nobody ever really talks about, the kind of secret stuff that you never really hear about, even though he is probably one of the bigger war heroes, I would say, as far as that goes. But unfortunately, we just never hear about that kind of stuff because it's just so top secret that it never gets told, which kind of sucks for those guys, because if they ever did happen to die in the line of duty, it's just like they never existed, right? So he goes back to his wife or girlfriend at the time, and what was her name? Gina Garrison, played by Tolu O'Reilly. I believe that is her name. I might be butchering that a little bit, but I'm sorry if I am. But yeah. So she says that she wants him to stay home anymore. She doesn't want him to go through what he's been going through, because she doesn't know how much longer his body can handle it, because each time he comes back with more wounds, more scars, obviously more body damage because of the rigorous stuff that he has to go through each and every time he goes out on a mission alone, right? So then I guess they're on their whatever vacation, I guess, because now he has some time off, clearly, while he waits for his next mission. And then he ends up getting kidnapped by this guy named... Whoops. Where is he? Oh my god, my fingers are wet from my cup. Bear with me for a second. Gets captured by this guy named... was Malcolm something. I know that much. Malcolm. Where is he? Oh no, sorry, Martin Axe. He gets captured by this guy named Martin Axe, who is asking him about who tipped him off about the hostages. That was right, yeah, about the hostages. And he says he doesn't know because he actually doesn't know. He just gets told whatever he's told through an earpiece. He doesn't actually know who's telling him. He just goes to where these guys tell him to go, and then he completes the mission and comes back home. Unfortunately, they do kill his wife, and then they kill him in the process, and then he wakes up in a whole new place, not remembering anything, who he is, what happened to him in the past, nothing. He just wakes up like it's a whole brand new fresh start for him, which would be very weird because he doesn't even remember dying until he is told by Dr. Harding that he has passed away, and now he has these things called nanites in him that help regenerate any wound or broken bone. Basically any kind of damage that he takes can be regenerated by these nanites. He no longer has like a regular healing process. So instead of, I guess, regular like red and white blood cells, these nanites are now his blood system. So it is very weird because I guess his body was donated by the military, and it says in the description that he has superpowers, but I wouldn't really consider this a superpower because it's a man-made power, so it's not really super. I mean, I guess in a way he is a super soldier, and he was the first one, I guess, to survive this experiment, so that makes him special, right? And I would say that was probably based on his genetic coding alone, even though they never really mentioned that in the movie, but I would say just because of his physical, I mean, it's Vin Diesel, but even in this movie, himself, the guy he's playing, Ray, just his physical stature and attributes, I would say, probably gave him an edge over a lot of other people. Like, he kept himself in good shape, obviously. So he had that advantage over most of the people who probably came in and did that programming before him, who would have passed away from it. That's just my interpretation of it. So anyway, he kind of discovers the abilities as he goes along a little bit, as he does like his own, like, I guess, self-valuation of it. So then he starts to remember his wife dying, who killed her. So then he goes into this outrage because there's this song playing on the radio called Psycho Killer in, I don't know whether it was like the kitchen area or whatever, when he's with RT and they're having a drink just to kind of like rediscover what kind of alcohol he likes, because she already knows what she likes. So she's trying to get him to like kind of loosen up a little bit, get into the mix of things to do these missions, right? So then he goes in this outrage, ends up killing the guy that killed his wife, but it turns out that these people were just people who had defected from this company. Now, what was the company called? I can't remember the name of the company. Damn it. Anyhow, not super important, I wouldn't say, but anyhow, so yeah. So I guess Dr. Harding is after these other two guys that defected from the company. So obviously he is after Martin Axe and this other guy named Nick Barris. So he leaves himself out of the equation clearly, because he was obviously working with these two on this project, and then they defected from it. So now he's trying to take out his competition, which in that sort of world makes total sense. So he obviously gets the job done with the first guy, brings, I guess, Project Bloodshot back now at this point. So he brings Ray / Bloodshot back to the facility, wipes his memory clean again, and then repeats the process with this Barris guy, and it does go horribly wrong when we factor in Wilfred Wiggins, who is this other tech-savvy guy who is working against, obviously, Dr. Harding, and his right-hand tech guy, whose name is, I believe it was Eric, was the guy who played now Siddharth Dahanjay. I want to say that's how you pronounce that. See, some of these names, man, it's just like, yeah, crazy pronunciation, I'm sure. Now, probably butchered that one, so if I did, I apologize, but yeah, some of these names, especially the first, I'd have to hear the pronunciation of that one to even get it right. Yeah, because some of these names are just wild. Also, the guy who plays Martin Axe was Toby Cabell. That seems like a pretty easy one to remember. And the guy who played Nick Barris was Johannes Hacker Shohan. I hope I got that one right too. Wow, just yeah. It seems so weird, right? I'm sure, like, even from a different culture, our names seem weird to them. But yeah, wow, just such a tongue twister of a name, the Eric guy. But anyhow, on with the rest of the review. So now we have this Wiggins guy who is interfering with everything, and so I believe it was somewhere around this point that that Ray goes to visit his wife after finding out that she's actually alive. Yeah, because it was after Wiggins brought him back. So he finds out that his wife is alive, finds where she is, goes to visit her, and then he doesn't remember much about what happened, right, other than obviously the death was faked so that they could send him on this revenge mission in order to wipe out the competition, right? So then he asks her how long it's been since they've seen one another, and she says 5 years. So we don't actually know how long Ray has been in this Bloodshot program, but it's been quite some time, clearly, because she obviously knew that he wasn't dead, but she's moved on because in her mind, they've already had this conversation of moving on. So he leaves her out of that equation after that and just takes off. When she goes to turn around at the door, he's already gone after he asks her that question. So then, unfortunately, he does end up getting captured by Harding again. But, and then that's when RT steps in with Wiggins, who she ends up just capturing instead of killing like she was commanded to do. And I guess Harding is able to control her breathing with his mechanical arm that he gave himself, because I guess he lost it to cancer when he was a very young man. So he said at the beginning of the movie, instead of worrying about what he'd lost, he was more focused on how to rebuild himself. And then when he did that, he could help other people with the same sort of issues or different issues regain limbs. Like, he gives one guy bionic legs, and he gives the other guy the ability of sight. So this guy is pretty incredible with his science, I would say. He knows his stuff, that's for sure. So I guess the two other super soldiers are basically Harding's like right-hand men. They kind of just do whatever he tells them to do, obviously because they're in it for the benefits, right? Rather than actually caring about their own lives. They pretty much put their lives into Harding's hands. So Wiggins is able to crack his own code, because I guess the code that Eric used was part of Wiggins' code. So obviously he was able to get into the system fairly easily and get control of Project Bloodshot, and then turn it against Harding's actual company. So the very final scene, or fight scene between the three super soldiers in the elevator, absolutely epic. Probably one of the best action scenes I've seen in quite some time. So just for that alone, that fight scene, this movie gets a 9 out of 10. It was just that good. That's just how, honestly, the rating I feel about it. I don't have any like bad points to say about this movie. I'm just giving it a 9 out of 10. I don't know. I can't really think of anything that was bad about it. It was all good. I just feel like that's the rating it deserves, is a 9 out of 10. Don't really know. Sometimes this is what I feel in my heart I can give a movie without even having any criticisms of it. Maybe some of the CGI could have been a little bit better, but I mean, hey, it is what it is with some of that. So maybe that's kind of why I'm feeling a little bit bad, a little bit off about it. But I mean, the final action scene was just absolutely epic. So yeah. And then obviously Wiggins is able to save him and I guess recreate the nanomites to do other things that they couldn't do before. So I'm kind of interested to see if there's going to be a sequel to this movie. Now, I don't really know what they would add as a villain, because obviously Harding is dead unless they find a way to bring him back somehow, but I don't know who would even do that, unless it was like Eric or somebody who obviously has that sort of technology. Maybe he could do it, because I guess he wouldn't be dead, they'd still be alive, right? I don't think there would be any way to bring back the other two soldiers, but who knows with the nanomite technology, anything is possible, right? But I think it would be hard to salvage those bodies after what the Project Bloodshot did to them, right? So, yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all I have to say about this movie. Highly recommend going to watch it. So, as always, like, share, subscribe, and comment down below your thoughts on this film if you have seen it, because it is a couple years old now, or at least a year. I know that much. I think it's in 2019 on Amazon, where you can go watch it for free, and it says 2020 on IMDb, so I'm a little confused on the actual release date of it, but I think maybe because it was pushed back, possibly, the original release date. I'm not sure. I can't remember when this movie actually came out, so whether it was before we were struck by COVID or after. But anyhow, that doesn't really matter, does it? Because it's out now. You can watch it you can watch it not anywhere, but on Amazon Prime if you have Amazon Prime. At least that's where I know that you can watch it. Yeah, I guess just with Prime. That's what it says on IMDb anyway. Let's just check more watch options. Nope. Just Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it. It is free. Or I guess you could rent it. If you don't have like Amazon Prime Video, you can rent it on Amazon for $3.99, I guess it says. So yeah, you could also do that as an option. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye for now.